Welcome back to Once Upon a Tiny Farm. My name's Drew, and today everything is frozen, but I recently got an order of worms. I ordered 250 composting worms. They're called red wigglers, and I am going to be using them to make my own worm composting bin. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to be making my bin a little bit differently than I've seen some other people do them. I've seen other people do them in these shallow totes and bins, but I don't have any bins like that. So what I do have is a bunch of 5-gallon buckets. And so today I'm going to show you how I'm going to make my worm bin using 2 5-gallon buckets. So let's get into it. Alright, so today I'm going to be making my worm bin, and these are going to be the 2 bins that I use. One of these bins is going to be the bottom bin, and I'm going to be drilling a hole with a 1 1/4 inch hole saw here, and I have a seal that I'm going to use called the Uniseal, and I'm going to be putting a little spigot here on this bottom bin so that all the liquids that come down, this is going to be my top bin. See how it all has holes in it. I actually used this for when I attempted to grow my own mushrooms in this 5-gallon bucket. It didn't work, but I still have this 5-gallon bucket full of holes. So this bucket is going to be on top like this. So all of the liquids are going to drain into this bottom bin, where I will have this spigot on the bottom, and I will be able to collect those liquids that are called a leachate, a worm leachate, which is basically all their worm castings and poop and all the good microbes and bacteria from the soil and worm castings that they create goes down into the bottom, and I can use that liquid and dilute it with water to put on my garden beds and basically create my own fertilizer, a natural fertilizer for the garden. So that's what I'm really excited about with this worm composting bin, and now I'm going to get into it, making it. Now I've got my 1 1/4 inch hole saw here. I am just going to find my hole here where I want to make it on the bottom. And here we go. Alright, so now I made my little hole with the hole saw, and I'm going to use this. This is called a Uniseal. I never used this before. It's a little rubber plug. I actually got this because from another video that I saw by Stephen Cornett, whose channel is called Nature's Always Right, and I'm going to be making a bubbler to clean my greens, and he did a video where he used these too when he made his bubbler. So I got 2 of those in that pack. One of these I'm going to use for here, and the other one is going to be for my greens bubbler. Alright, so there you go. That was really hard to get through that seal. This is what it looks like on the inside, if you could see that. So now I have my bottom bucket, got my top bucket. Now it's time to fill it in with everything we need to fill it in to please the worms. Alright, so here's what we got so far in the bottom. See the little bit of the PVC, the seal in there, and then our spigot here. And now we're putting this in with the holes in it here, and now we're going to fill it up. So I'm using a worm composting guide that I found on the channel called Hey It's a Good Life, and I will put a link to the webpage that I think it's like a blog post that she wrote that I'm using to layer my worm bin that I'll show you right now. So first layer is browns. I'm going to be using this. This is like packing paper that came in some recent packages. I'm going to have that line the bottom. I probably should lift this up a little bit. Like that. Alright. So I got a layer of browns. And my next one is a layer of food scraps and grit. And grit for the worms are things like coffee grounds and eggshells. So that's the kind of stuff I'm going to layer on a little bit on top of this. Didn't want to do too much. There's some of my homemade compost here, thanks to the chickens. Probably not supposed to have snow on it, but we just had a really big storm, and it's going to melt anyway, because tonight it's going to get down below freezing, so I'm going to be keeping this worm bin inside the house for the night. And then after tonight, it's going to start getting a lot warmer, so I'll be able to keep it in the greenhouse until weather gets even warmer, and then I'll probably find a spot for it out here, probably beside the chicken coop. Because I also I have a project in mind to add a rain barrel here and put a roof over this other section of the chicken run so that I can collect rainwater and use that rainwater mixed with this worm leachate to use a fertilizer on my plants and just have I'm trying to have the best plants possible using all of my own inputs here on the farm, so I'm really excited about this. Alright, so following this guide, like I said, that I'm using from It's a Good Life, she recommends about a 2-inch layer each time, so that was about 2 inches of compost. Now I'm going to go back and do another layer of browns, another layer of food scraps, and then we're going to add some worms. Alright, so here I've done another layer of browns. You know what, I'm actually going to add I have some leaves and grass and dead things around here that I could add to my browns besides this, so I'm going to do that real quick. Alright, I've got some, well, I probably shouldn't put the twigs in there, but I've got some leaves. I figure the more natural stuff in here, the better. The twigs and stuff won't really break down, but they'll break down these leaves. Alright, after this, like I said, it's another layer of food scraps. I don't want to do too much. She says just a thin layer of this stuff. I've got some greens, onion peels, coffee grounds. Actually, there's a banana peel. So that's my last layer of food scraps. I'm going to do another layer of compost. Then I'm going to add my worms. Alright, so I've got some worms in here. You probably can't see, they're very cold, so I'm trying to do this quick because worms don't like these cold temps. So I'm trying to get them in here, and then I'm going to get them in the house as soon as I can. But these guys, they like to, this variety is called red wiggler, and they like to climb to the top. As opposed to like the night crawlers and the bigger earthworms tend to go down deep in the soil. Here's what these red wigglers look like. See, it's like small and skinny, but these guys like to eat food scraps, and they're great composting worms. Everybody recommends them. This guy's really cold, so I'm gonna get them back in here, and now I'm just gonna cover up with some brown stuff on top, and then we're gonna put the lid on this. Literally and figurative. Got a lid on our worm bin. We've got worms, and we're gonna have compost worm castings in there. They're gonna make some worm castings, and they're gonna make us some liquid gold that we're gonna use on the garden as fertilizer. Pretty cool. So I'll keep you all updated on how this worm bin is working out. I'm pretty excited. I've wanted to do this for a long time, and now it's just one step closer to being more self-sufficient, making my own inputs here on our little farm, and I'll keep you guys updated on how this is going in a few months, because it's going to take some time. I ordered 250 worms. You'd be surprised how small 250 worms is. I showed you how small the one of those worms are. They're all hiding in there trying to stay warm, so I'm going to put this back in the house. I'm going to wrap up this video because I can't feel my fingers. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful at all, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next video.